What's up, guys, and welcome back to Sensibly Loud Radio. It's your main man, J-Mac, here on this gorgeous evening here at Sensibly Loud HQ in Dallas, Texas. I'm joined by Mountain Karl and Brandon. Boys, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Happy Wednesday evening.
Gentlemen.
It's good to be back. Feels like we record this, we talk about this every single week. It always feels like so long between shows because I feel like we just compile garbage to talk about all week long. And so by the time we get here, it's like, good Lord, it's been forever.
Absolutely. No, it's pretty great when we actually got our stuff together now and we're working pretty seamlessly online and everything. And it's it definitely feels like it's been a while, but it always also feels like it's kind of not been that long. So it's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this time last week we were guessing horse weights.
Not accurately, I may add.
No. Well, I don't know. Yeah, we had some feedback from that episode, though. People seem to eat up the horse measurement talk.
Yes, and while I don't know the actual height of the horse and hands, I can tell you that it was awfully short.
Yes.
So, yeah, subjectively speaking, of course.
What a travesty of a story. I was dying laughing whenever you were telling me all that. So great.
Yeah.
Well,
Self-deprecating humor is the best humor.
Exactly. Especially at this company.
Yeah.
It works. I mean, we've got Ben out on the road right now, and apparently he's visiting like the world's largest mailbox somewhere near St. Louis. I mean, these videos he's been putting out are just incredible.
Yeah, I'm loving them. Yeah, the actual the conversation that he has with the camera discussing the almost fight that he gets into with a St. Louis fan, but then also doesn't. It's the most anticlimactic, but also the most enjoyable, 30 seconds that I've had on watching him speak. So
I agree. And the thing is, like, I think I've rubbed off on Ben a little bit because he would have never, if I met him when I did 4 years ago, I don't think he ever would have like rallied up that much hatred towards just a common baseball fan of another team, much less a parking attendant. I don't think he would have ever riled up that much anger towards them so quickly before meeting me. I mean, I feel like that's just, Ben's a calm, cool, and collected guy. And so whenever that shit's happening,
full support of Ben, full-throated support of Ben. I think that that if he's wearing a Rangers hat and he gets guff from a Cardinals fan, that he needs to step up, and I think he did. So good job, good on you.
We need to go back and watch this because did he actually get guff from them, or was he just angry when he saw them?
I think that there is a little bit of a back and forth. We don't get the full video. We just kind of get the recap. That's what I'm saying. That was the anticlimactic part. I was just kind of, watching him recap the entire encounter, and I was just kind of hoping that he would pull out his phone and then, throw a right hook or something. But no.
Nope. We'll have to get him on here to talk about this. I feel I've got questions.
Absolutely.
I've got questions about his whole adventure. And so he broke the news the other day. I think that was his first video with his buddy Jeff. He broke the news of the whole Tampa Bay Rays and the Expos story.
That's right.
Great. Like, it was great conversation and everything. And then all of a sudden, these videos just start coming out of nowhere of just ridiculous situations that he's in. Did I see somewhere that he was near the world's largest chair as well?
Does the actual surrounding area of St. Louis have the actual monopoly on weird shit? Because weird large shit.
Yeah. Like, is this like a one neighborhood where they've got the world's largest chair, house,
shed,
mailbox? Yeah. Like, it's all this shit. Like, is that, I hope that's not where this is. I've got a lot of questions. I'm going to look into the chair thing though, but I feel like I definitely saw the world's largest chair in some capacity somewhere from him. It definitely wasn't from anybody else that I know.
He's playing to type, finding all the largest, most strange things. So Let's go. Let's keep doing it. I'm all for that. I can't believe that he found all these things around St. Louis. So
I know. And I mean, we send the guy out on the road and he just comes back with electric stuff. So
I dig it.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I can't wait to see what comes of this Colorado trip we've all got planned. So, there's content galore coming from Ben Baseball, even though he's been absent from the baseball show, because I wanted to give him a bunch of shit for it the other day. But I was like, well, actually, he's been producing a lot of content.
Yeah, he's still working hard. Very excited for Colorado. Good group of people going.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I've been giving Jimmy Midtown a little bit of trash about the Mets just because I have to, and he's just not at all surprised at the fact that the whole thing is a mess, and it just makes me laugh every time. So,
yeah, very disinterested, I'm sure.
Indeed, man, it's been a crazy week just in the news and just with everything going on. Did you see Pizza Hut's returning to its old logo?
Does Pizza Hut have to reach back to just what looks like a shitty red hat logo? And I mean, is that how they generate interest? I mean, at least Domino's kind of rolled the dice, right? They said to themselves, "Hey, we can actually go and we can, make good pizza, and then we can completely shit on ourselves while we do it publicly, or we can come out and say, "Hey, we're as good as we've always been." And they kind of they got this weird dynamic from a from an advertising standpoint, and they made it work for them. I mean, people are going back to Domino's that never went to Domino's before. Pizza Hut has got a whole different situation where they're looking at everything and they're saying, "Hey, you know what? If we go back to this random hat logo, this Hut logo that we've got, maybe it'll bring people back in droves." That's not going to do shit. I mean, like, is it going to actually have nostalgia involved? I mean, what do you guys think?
Mm. So yeah, I remember this logo vaguely as a kid and going into actual pizza establishments that looked like a big rectangular restaurant, like a Burger King, if you will, and you can sit down and order a pizza and they bring it to you. Uh, I honestly haven't seen that logo since probably like back in the day with the third Back to the Future coming out and all that kind of stuff. Uh, I don't know. I feel like because we're reaching sort of that 30-year mark for some things and 40-year mark for other things, they're trying to dip back in and go retro. And I don't know if this is really a good call or not. I don't know if that it's really going to matter in terms of boosting their business or not. Just sounds like they're out of ideas.
So to add to that, I feel like I don't like when teams do this with uniforms either. Whenever it's like you have one set of uniforms or one logo or whatever, right? And then you move to a new set. And then you basically go back to the old set as like a retro, but it's like it doesn't feel like it's that far away. You know what I mean? Like I always look at the Dallas Mavericks as an example. Like they go back to those greens that are awesome, except for the fact that was only one uniform iteration before. So it rings a little bit less cool, I guess. You don't I think you need time to miss it, I guess is what I'm saying. And so it's kind of the same thing with like a logo type thing where it's like, I don't feel like this was that long ago.
Are you thinking the same thing with like Texas Rangers powder blues kind of thing, or is that long enough ago where you actually get that feeling?
Yeah, those are long enough ago where those are all.
Yeah. Or like the Cowboys alternate uniform where it's like the 60s, 70s look.
Yeah.
It's just hard with them though, because they've never changed they've always remained their classic uniform, which is fine. I respect that, but they've never changed them.
Yeah, when they do the retro stuff for Thanksgiving and stuff like that, you look back and you say, "Oh, okay, well, you haven't really come that far when it comes to looks of uniforms." I mean, you're not like the Buccaneers or the Pats,
right. With
when
the creamsicles.
With the creamsicles, yeah, you do the creamsicles, or you do like the snapping revolutionary. What's his name? Yeah,
the actual Patriot.
Yeah, an actual Patriot. Yeah, so
a fascinating concept for a logo. It's incredible.
Right, and an anachronism to be sure.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like that's the whole thing with this is I just don't feel like that logo was that long ago to where I'm like, that does kind of rub the nostalgia thing versus like, oh, well, if you maybe came up with one more new one, went with that for 10 years and then went back to the old one, then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I got you. It draws me back to when I was a kid going to the restaurants that had the salad bar that was absolutely disgusting and the cheese guard that just made you want to die. Like I remember that.
It seems, I mean, from a logo and a marketing standpoint, it seems remarkably conservative and cautious. They don't actually go out and do anything that hasn't been done before, right? So, I mean, granted, Domino's isn't going to bring back the Noid, right? But I think that I think that the Pizza Hut bringing back their logo is really just playing it safe.
That exactly. I think that's a great take. It did. So we determined it was the Noid for Domino's. We were talking about that pre-show.
Correct. Yeah, that was my my intimate research into the Noid gave that birth.
You gave birth to the Noid.
I gave birth to the Noid. Go ahead and mark that.
Yeah, mark that for later. Did you happen to see how long that was a campaign for by any chance?
I did not, but I imagine that in the era of Spuds McKenzie and things like that, that if you got the Noid and he lasted maybe even a year, that's too much.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure he's older than that. I'm pretty sure he went on for a long time.
That's upsetting.
When I Googled it, though, the first article that came up is called "How Domino's Pizza Lost Its Mascot." I don't think I'm really in the mood to get into the dynamics of how the Noid got murdered.
I think they're practicing like really like strong, progressive, interesting marketing strategies now. And I mean, if you look back at the Noid, I can't attribute any of those verbiage to the Noid.
Yeah, so, Noid murder. You can't look back on that and reflect positively.
Yeah, it's just nightmare fuel, and I don't like it.
But I'm fine with it. You moved on. It's fine.
Yeah, we've moved on, and we're making good pizza now, and we're actually selling on that. So I'm sure you'll get a lot of people calling in, offering their takes on how Mountain Karl is an idiot because he said that Domino's pizza is actually not terrible.
It's not. I agree with you.
So which one do you prefer, chain wise?
Oh man, I was a Papa John's guy for a while. Not that that's not mired in controversy. Expect a lot of flame mail.
7, man.
But yeah, but the I think when we come to like the local pizza chains and stuff, we try to support them and everything now. How hipster of me. But the Domino's pizza game is relatively strong. I think that when you're doing late night thing, I've reached out to Domino's several times. So and they've been clutch.
Yeah.
So.
No free ads here.
But no,
I like how you said reached out like in your time of need. In my time of need, I reached out in my desperate hours.
You have no idea how desperate I've looked.
Yeah.
Ordering
so
pizza.
Desperate, you end up on the toilet later, It's just like it was worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
It was worth it.
I was catching the falling knife, I was really trying to prevent that kind of thing. So maybe Domino's comes through, maybe Domino's doesn't. But yeah, no, I've had a good experience with Domino's recently.
The last time that I went to Domino's, Brandon was actually with me. And so we went to pick up the pizza. And we walk in, and like this is kind of a newer Domino's near me or whatever. The guy behind the counter was really nice. I paid for it, all this, right? And as I'm leaving, he like awkwardly forces me to shake his hand.
No, you had a presence, obviously.
I guess, dude. And maybe he recognized I was the founder or something. I don't know. But like, it seemed like he was really keen on shaking my hand. Like, Brandon was there. I mean, what did you think?
He looked like one of the assistant managers or something like that, but he just... he kind of looked like an IT kind of guy, so I don't know. Maybe he's having a second job, but he
yearning for human contact.
He looked like a prick. Is what he looked like.
Right after Justin paid for it, and he's taking the pizza. He hands him the pizza, and the guy's like, "Okay, well, hey, thanks for coming in, guys," and extends his hand to us, and so we're just like, "Yeah, okay."
I don't really expect to shake hands when I go purchase a pizza.
Right.
I feel like that doesn't. The guy was nice enough, right? But it was, I'm not nice enough of a person for that. I'm just not. I'm way too much of an asshole to be shaking hands with a pizza guy.
Would you prefer the Little Caesars way of walking in and just like, grabbing one from the hot and ready stack?
Hot and ready oven?
No.
Yeah, just like, I'll have that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those people are disgusting.
They've got the bacon around them now, though. I mean,
oh, good. Yeah. Just what we needed.
Yeah. So you've got that going for you.
It's disgusting. That pizza is the nastiest pizza I've ever eaten. However, they did have one of the most badass ad campaigns I've ever seen back in like the early 90s with the pizza guy.
Oh, yeah. Every pizza person has got every pizza person, good Lord, every pizza store has got their mascot. And
it was good, though.
Yeah. Yeah, not too shabby. So good on you for selling shitty $5 pizza at making it happen, Little Caesars.
It's
Exactly.
surprising. I mean, as much as I hated on the retro logo for Pizza Hut, I think I go back and forth between Pizza Hut and Papa John's. It's my number one now, but Domino's used to be it because it was the closest one when I lived at my last apartment. But yeah, they've really stepped their game up. However, Hungry Howie's was really good, and J Mac introduced me to that
Boy.
years ago.
Did you ever try Hungry Howie's, Carl?
I've never tried Hungry Howie's as an alumni of SMU. I did the Piggy Pies route.
Yes. Piggy Pies is good though.
Yeah, well, Piggy Pies is pretty solid. I had a Piggy Pies experience with Sambino when we were not feeling too well from the night before and ordering in their barbecue chicken pizza, and our eyes were way bigger than our stomachs.
Oh yeah.
So we definitely placed that order, and we are just like, yeah, how big do you want? Like, I don't know, like 24 seems like kind of small. Let's go like 48 or whatever, like let's just go whole hog. And it was like, the catering guy shows up kind of deal, and he like rolls up and he opens the door and he's just like, are you serious right now? So it was pretty good. We just stared at each other. We're just like, what do we do? But yeah, it was pretty good. But it's good.
It's delivered in a van.
Yeah, I mean, like, you've got like two people delivering a pizza. You've done something wrong. So
yeah, or right, very right,
or right. Yeah, just go for it.
It's really. I go back and forth on all the pizza chains as well. I'm kind of I worked at Pizza Hut. And I really got sick of their pizza, and I got fired, so that didn't really make me happy either. So I kind of boycotted Pizza Hut for a long time. But I came back around on it because it's good pizza. It really is.
Where's everybody at on stuffed crust? Is that like too much?
Occasionally,
yeah, for me too.
Yeah, I've been all in on the whole stuffed crust phenomenon. Initially when I was like, nice big fat kid kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
But I've backed off on the whole stuffed crust thing.
Oh,
yeah.
I was going to say, what's good is the stuffed garlic knots. If you haven't had those.
Oh yeah, they're incredible.
That's a night right there.
Part of the reason
me and my date, the stuffed garlic knots.
A real romantic.
Gonna go eat those knots. I had to say it.
Yeah, you had to go there.
Gross.
Mark it. This is so stupid. This is terrible radio.
Yeah.
It's good.
Awesome. Well, one thing that struck me, we were talking about just like, Hungry Howie's we were talking about because they had this like seasoned crust. But what kind of made me think about that is just college and shows we watched in college and everything. And as kind of a follow-up, did you happen to see that Chase Utley threw the first pitch out at the Phillies game the other day to Mac from It's Always Sunny?
Absolutely. I wish I actually watched the video. I read the article on it and everything. So Chase Utley and Mac finally got their catch. It's pretty exciting.
Brandon, is that not like probably a top 5 episode? What would you say? That's a great episode.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah,
is it? Yeah, because that's the one whenever they're trying to get into the Phillies game, right? And they're fumigating the apartment and all that shit.
Trying to get in the Phillies game.
Yeah. What kind of bunch of idiots? He drew the picture and put stickers on there and everything. He's talking about playing catch with Chase Utley. That's his dream. He was going to run out on the field and give him the note and everything that he wanted to play catch with him because he didn't have a dad either. It's just the whole premise was absolutely ridiculous. So they finally made that happen in Philly the other day, which I bet was a riot at the game. I would have loved to have been there for that.
Yeah, apparently everybody just lost their shit when it was revealed that Mac was behind the plate. But it was he was actually wearing, I think, a jersey that said Mac on the back. I mean, obviously it's I think it's Rob McElhaney, right, is the guy's name. But I think he was actually wearing a real Phillies jersey that said Mac on it, and he caught the pitch, and then he tore off his helmet, and everybody lost their minds. So it was pretty great.
That's such a great show. It's coming back in September. And I've been watching through. It took Claire and I a little bit, but we finally got caught up on it not long ago, and it's still pretty strong. Like it really is for as long as it's been on. I think it's been on like 11 or 12 seasons, right?
Yeah, it's something like that. They've got a really strong mind, or really strong minds behind the actual writing of that show, and it definitely takes some talent to pull that off. So good on them for going as long as they have.
Starting episode or season 14 this
Wow.
coming fall. So yeah, definitely. That's a good run. They took a year off, right?
I think they did because the guy who plays Dennis was starting his own show. Everybody kind of had like a side project going on.
Yeah, they started. D had the Mick going on. Did you guys ever watch that show? I know
Oh,
Brandon
yeah.
and I have talked about this before. To be fair, Carl, did you watch the Mick?
I did not watch the Mick. I watched all the trailers for it and everything. It looked hilarious.
Dude, it was balls to the wall hilarious in every episode. And I mean, they had the perfect cast and everything. The only thing that always perplexed me about it was that it didn't belong on Fox. Like it didn't belong on network TV. It needed to be on like FX.
Right. That makes sense.
And
Yeah.
so it was racy for like network TV though, like real racy.
Good on Fox for actually pushing the boundaries and everything. The FX network is great, and it's in lieu of the fact that all of its shows are about miserable people.
All of them.
Every single show that they've got is about miserable people, and that's fine. I mean, they actually pull it off really well. I mean, it's all well directed and well shot and well written, but there is a definitely a motif.
Yeah, that's
there.
very true, and I'm a big FX follower. I don't know how I ended up becoming that way. I just kind of like gave a few shows a shot back in the day, like The Bridge and all those kind of shows. And now I watch like What We Do in the Shadows and then Legion. And yeah, it's all crazy stuff. But you're right. A lot of the characters are just miserable. So it's got this gritty realism to it. But yeah, I think that's probably Fox's whole idea with FX.
I mean, this is a network that had Louis on it, for God's sakes. I mean, is that not the definition of self-loathing?
Yeah, absolutely.
That show was hilarious, though.
It was the peak of self-deprecating humor, for sure.
Like that episode when that kid shits in the bathtub might be the funniest thing I've ever seen on television. I mean, what an unbelievable thing to happen in your house. Just have some kid come over and poop in your bathtub. I'd be furious. And the way he deals with it, so Louis, self-deprecating, loathing like is great. It's a shame that he got Me Too'd, just given that he was so talented, kind of thing, you know. But it sounds like he's starting to come back. I think he did a show in New York the other day.
Yeah, he is. He's on the mend talent wise. No telling if he has done his apology tour enough, but we'll find out, I'm sure.
So Breaking Bad is on FX as well? I thought that was on AMC.
I thought it was AMC.
Breaking Bad is AMC, so that's another network that features more, I guess you could say, self-loathing characters, because you have Mad Men, you have Walking Dead. You know, you have like all these characters that are going through some sort of drama or conflict.
Good point.
Carl, did you watch Mad Men?
I got a good taste of it. It actually seemed like it was a really well developed character drama. I mean, it was. I've gotten, like I said, only a taste. My experience of it and everything was that I needed to be more invested in the characters. Not unlike a Game of Thrones situation and things like that. So, I want to invest time in it. I think girlfriend will like it. Actually,
would. Yeah, she definitely would. Claire loved it, but it's a slow burn. It's just different than anything else. That's what I love about it the most, is that it just kind of takes, the pace gets it stays very moderate, but then every now and then something just balls to the wall crazy happens, and it's so out of character just out of place that it just absolutely stunning. So
does it lend itself well to binge watching? Is
that?
Yes,
that's the best way to watch it.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I binged the first like 4 seasons of it, and then I watched it live from there.
Yeah, the Netflix model. Binge watch it.
No doubt about it. But Roger Sterling he'll be your favorite person in the world. He's incredible. So
I've got friends who are in like fully loving. Is it Josh Ham?
John Hamm.
John Hamm.
Yep.
John Hamm.
John Hamm. Yep.
Yeah. I love him too, but like I can't think of him as anything but Don Draper now because it's a tragic character. I mean, brutal character. So, but there are all kinds of shows on that network like that too. The Americans was really great too. Brandon, that's a show you've been all about.
I can't recommend that show enough.
I really need to sit down and do a watch of that one.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
The cast is excellent too. So it caught my eye several times.
Did you guys happen to see some of these rumors and leaks about this potential of the Breaking Bad movie coming soon?
Yeah, so I think it came out today or yesterday, or maybe it was over the weekend, but I think on social media, both Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul, who plays Jesse Pinkman, both kind of posted something just teasing and just saying soon in quotations. So it's been talked about that it's moving into pre-production, should be in production already for the Breaking Bad movie. The story, basically Vince Gilligan is back to form, and he's been busy doing Better Call Saul, which has been amazing. I've been very happy with that. But it's supposed to take place right after the events of the Breaking Bad series finale, and you see kind of what happens to Jesse Pinkman after that.
I can't wait for this. Karl, so you haven't done Breaking Bad yet.
No, go ahead and give me the Cliff's notes on why I should actually be fully involved in Breaking Bad. I know Breaking Bad is a fantastic show. It's very brooding, character drama. But what is the big hook when it comes to Breaking Bad to you guys?
It's the way that it's written. It's brilliantly told. The story interweaves, and there's so much imagery. There's so much, just like I've watched that show 2 full times through, like 2.5 times through basically. And every single time I've watched it, I've picked up something new where I'm like, oh, that's a common color among this emotion or this type of situation. It's the detail and just the way the story is told there's nothing else like it other than Better Call Saul, I guess, but it's the same kind of thing. So it's a spinoff.
Yeah, I will say that not in the beginning seasons, but later on as it starts to progress, you start to have foreshadowing, and then you'll see scenes from like the future that take place, and it'll start the episode, and you're like, and then it goes to the main title, and you're like, okay, what the fuck was that? And then it goes back and it tells the story leading up to that point, and it could take several episodes, but I like how they do that. The only other show I can think of that's similar to that in some ways is True Detective. So if you're a fan of True Detective, I think you'll really, really like Better Call Saul. But, for a brief synopsis, what kind of reeled me in is just kind of like this everyday guy who's trying to be the best dad and husband, and he's a chemistry teacher at a high school, and he finds out he has stage 4 cancer. Happens pretty quick, so he has very little time, and going and getting like the treatments and stuff, he just knows it's going to cost a lot, and he doesn't want to burden his family with all the costs. So he ends up meeting this kid, Jesse, who used to be in his class years ago, and it was kind of I can't remember if he graduated or if he was a dropout, but finds out he's selling meth, and he's like, well, how hard is it to really make this stuff? And then, of course, he makes this like 98% pure, which has never been made ever in the world, and it has this blue look to it, and starts to find out he's pretty good at it, so they go into the business together.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's just the crazy story that ensues around all of that. So like, it's one of those things, it's really slow at first. It is a slow burn, and it takes a while to build in the first like 2 seasons, but by the time you get into season 2, you're in. Like, you'll be in.
That's what I've heard, and I think that maybe one of the things that's maybe hold off on it was the constant, from binge watching and everything, the idea that, hey, watch 4 seasons and you're going to be hooked, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that everybody says that it's worth it. The payoff is there. I think I need to actually invest time in this thing.
You won't regret it, and I'm telling you, you won't be able to put it down.
Okay.
It consumed a full week of my time when I discovered it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I did nothing but watch that show.
I don't know. I can't really actually to think about it this way in terms of like how hooked I got on that show. And of course, I watched it after it was completely done, so I just binged it on Netflix, and it's the best thing ever because you don't have to wait or anything like that. But the only thing I can compare it to would be 24 and how hooked I got onto a show, and I was like, oh shit, I cannot wait to watch the next episode, which is another.
Brandon, that's all you had to say,
go.
man. 24 and got hooked. I mean, I'm in.
Jack Bauer, man.
You won't believe how quickly you get to the story. And like, it's like details, like for instance, and the way that like Better Call Saul plays into it and sows into Breaking Bad, like, because what Claire and I did last summer is we watched all of Breaking Bad and then all of Better Call Saul again. And then as the fall came and it was recording the new season, we just let all that record. And as we were watching the previous stuff and then watched it all the way through. And so I was really able to pick up on like the details of what was interwoven into Better Call Saul. And like, there's this like throwaway scene whenever they're like, when things are coming unglued, because Saul is like Walter, the main character's lawyer. And so like that he has a spinoff show and it's kind of like about his past before he got to that point is kind of how this all builds up. And they're like freaking out. He's about to leave town. He's like, oh, if I'm lucky, he's like, are you getting out of here? And he's like, if I'm lucky in 6 months, I'll be working at a Cinnabon in South Dakota. And then, you know, and that's just like a throwaway line. And then that's how Better Call Saul starts, is he's in, like, it's in black and white. He's like in a disguise working at a Cinnabon. And it's like, that's such a very small, tiny detail to just like work a whole plot line off of.
Awesome.
And they do that all the time, like constantly. And within the show, it doesn't stop. I can't recommend it enough.
Put your phone down and pay attention. I like that kind of show.
Exactly. And that's the same thing about Mad Men. It's such a slow burn, but you can miss so much if you're not really paying attention. It's the same way.
Right on.
So I love those shows too, because it forces me to put my phone down. There have been like quite a few movie rumors like floating around and stuff lately. We were throwing a couple in our Slack chat.
What what was it? You know, I think that the big hitter here was Batman. Going back to that, I mean, pretty sure that we've got some big names attached to this thing. Brandon, we got Josh Gad, Chloe Grace Moretz, Andy Serkis. Yep. I mean, how do you think this all lines up as far as who does what? And do you think that Chloe Grace Moretz is actually a decent Catwoman? We actually had, Audrey Plaza called as a shoo-in last episode, and I'm kind of curious what your take is on this.
Yeah, so I remember talking about Aubrey Plaza with Moretz. I know that she's been in some films like a remake of Carrie and Let Me In, which is like Let the Right One In, I believe is what it was, which is about like a girl vampire, and this boy meets the girl vampire and falls in love, and she kind of protects him but doesn't, so I've seen a few different roles and different takes that she's given to some gritty performances, but I just don't see her playing Catwoman.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with that. I think that she does a great job as either Selena Kyle or Catwoman, but not necessarily bringing the full picture to the role. I think that her physicality is very good from Kick-Ass and things like that we've actually seen her in and doing great stunts in. But really, when it comes to if she can do a good Selena Kyle and Catwoman, maybe she can kind of sell the actual stunt side of things, but I really don't see her from a perspective of Catwoman playing a very good Selena Kyle or Catwoman.
I agree with you. I don't feel that's the harder part that I have picturing is not as much the Catwoman part. I don't know. I feel like we laid out the reasons for Aubrey Plaza being perfect for this role last time. and I can't get my head around someone else being better for it. This doesn't feel right to me.
I read a good article the other day that kind of got me thinking about, is the 30th anniversary, I think it was like a month ago, of Batman 1989. And they've since come out with like 4K, versions of it, and it's all been restored and looks great. And, just kind of what we talked about in the last episode of how some people are kind of divided on Robert Pattinson and who's this guy that's 31 or, early 30s going in. And, Michael Keaton was 31 going in as well. And, all he was known as was like Mr. Mom and everything else going in at the time. But what was interesting was there, Keaton talked about how recently that they were looking at some action stars to be cast as Batman back in the day. And one of those was Steven Seagal, which thank God that didn't happen.
Boy.
That probably would have ruined everything for me as a kid. But
would he have just been coming off of Under Siege, or would he have been going into Under Siege?
Under Siege, I thought, well, no, yeah, you're right. Because Under Siege 2 was early 90s. So, yeah, I think he probably just came off of Under Siege.
Right. And Under Siege, in its own right, pretty good action film,
Not Batman, though.
Not Batman.
Yeah. So strange.
It would have been pretty cheesy. But so this was the studio's take, is they really thought about it, because it's like, think about it. You're at the end of an amazing decade where you had Arnold in Predator, Arnold in The Terminator. You had, Sylvester Stallone in some roles, and Jean-Claude Van Damme was uprising. And, so all these action stars were taken over, and everything was like action, sexy. Who gives a shit about the story, right? It could be cheesy as hell, but it's still going to make money. And so they thought about from that perspective, and they were like, well, but how are they going to do as Bruce Wayne? They're going to suck ass. So we need to find like an actor who can actually do brooding and actually act and give like a different twist and different take on that character. And as far as Batman goes, we just put a stunt guy in the suit and no one will know the difference. So same concept here for Catwoman. I think they should go with, a real good actress and somebody who can, have some depth to it. And then as far as like with the costume, if it's the costume I'm thinking of from the graphic novels where she's got the goggles that goes over her head and her face and stuff, yeah, you just put a stunt woman in there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're actually talking about Steven Seagal, you might as well throw like Michael Dudikoff from like American Ninja in there. I mean, like it just doesn't. Some of these things just don't track. Granted, Dudikoff would have been a greater choice than Seagal.
Yeah.
So I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll say it right now. Michael Dudikoff as Batman, coming off of only Canon Pictures, would be a better choice than Steven Seagal.
But if you're going to cannonball Batman, you may as well do it right. I mean, at that point.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I mean, if you're actually gonna, just shotgun it and just like blow it out of the hell out of it, then yeah. I mean, might as well go with the kitschy, fun Steven Seagal make that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not my favorite.
No, it's not awesome. I'm glad we hammered that out just in case anybody wondered.
Yeah. Was Steven Seagal a good pick?
No, he would not have been. Confirmed bad.
So the other rumor going around is, there's been a lot of like Boss Logics and all these that kind of come up with sort of these graphics, just taking pictures of real celebrities and putting them into the outfit, and it does a really good job. And they were doing that for Josh Gad because there were some rumors that maybe he was up for the role or he was reading for the role of I'm trying to remember Penguin.
Penguin, right?
I was trying to remember the full name.
Oswald Cobblepot.
I was blanking on that. Yeah, and
it's
so it turns out, I don't know if that's true, if he's reading for it or not, but they've, it's pretty much official that he's definitely not going to be the one with the role. But the rumor is that Andy Serkis is possibly up for that role.
That is very interesting, especially since we've got a good mix of him from a CGI standpoint and a very good, look at him from a non-CGI standpoint from the MCU. So we'll we'll see how this goes. I think he would be a pretty good penguin, actually.
I think so too. And what's interesting is he worked with the same director, with Matt Reeves, during the entire trilogy of the Ape trilogy.
That's right. That's right.
Josh Gad is awesome, though. I like him a lot. He's just, I don't know if that's the right role for him, but at the same time, I feel like he'd be really great at it,
He would
too.
just be sort of a campier version. And the way that the penguin is, especially in the comics, like, it depends on the comics. Some of the comics has a monocle, but the other ones that what I like, the iteration of the penguin is, he's this arms dealer. And in the Arkham video games, actually, they kind of captured my favorite version, where it's not a monocle, but it's like a broken bottom of a beer bottle that's been like lodged into his eye, and it's just stuck there. And so, yeah,
Awesome.
So if you go gritty, Andy Serkis, I think he's already pulled that off in so many movies, like Black Panther. He did that. Remember?
Yeah. Great take on that. And I mean, as far as Gad goes, I'm actually kind of curious if he goes the Riddler route.
That would be interesting. I never even really thought about that.
I don't think anyone really did, because the Cobblepot thing was really hanging in front of everyone. But I mean, as far as was it Edward Nygma,
Yep.
right? The Riddler. I mean, I could see this actually turning out pretty well. We've hammered out the Catwoman casting to death, and there will be rumors from here until the actual movie is done. But the when it comes to Riddler, I think he'd be pretty solid.
I don't hate that pick. I really don't. I've never really thought about it that way, but I don't hate that pick at all.
Yeah, I think he'd be okay. Because the Riddler's got a little bit of a sardonic, comedic twist to him. So I think he would pull it off. I still think that Neil Patrick Harris would be a better Riddler.
It seems to fit the bill of the original character a little bit better, probably.
I think we still have the stain of Jim Carrey in all of our minds. So I think that was Joel Schumacher involved in Batman Forever
he was
as
a director in that as well.
Okay. So I can understand how all of these things transpired, as far as Jim Carrey being the Riddler, Tommy Lee Jones being Two-Face. Like, I get that. But I always worry that we've got that so far lodged in our consciousness that trying to pick the exact right person for the role isn't going to stray far enough from those two.
Yeah, that's a good point. You got to really nail this one on the head, I feel like.
Yeah, make it your own. Get weird with it. Go adventurous, and really pick someone that nobody was expecting. Heath Ledger's a great example of that for Joker, and surprise the hell out of people. I mean, what do you have to lose? The story has been told to death.
I'm all for it.
Go for it.
Yeah, break it up a little bit and just give it its own twist, because that was what was great about the Dark Knight movies, is how different they were, or just that trilogy. It was they were so different than anything else. They were so gritty. We talked about that a million times, but
sure,
absolutely awesome. I was looking at Child's Play the other day, so have we talked about that movie on the show at all?
We mentioned that we need to actually go see it, but we haven't actually gone and seen it.
Well, yeah, it doesn't come out till October.
Right.
But I just can't believe we haven't really talked about this more than, like, we were talking about this in pre-show, and Carl, you kind of made a little bit of a discovery about it yesterday, which I'll let you kind of go into here in a second about its ratings and everything so far.
Yeah, well, maybe it has. I mean, maybe it has come out earlier than October. I guess my main thing is that.
Yeah,
is it out? Is it out? Okay.
Last Friday.
Oh, I'm thinking of the It movie. I'm sorry.
It movie. Yes, you're right. Yeah, it's oh my god, trying to stage these releases right now, trying to not step on anybody's toes and trying to get your biggest audience. What a pain in the ass. We can cover that later, but the Child's Play thing that really shocked me was that it's still fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It seems to be another one of those big disparities between the people who are going to go see the film and the critics. Uh, there's, when you see like superhero films and things like that, you get a lot of the thing where the critics, they bomb it. The people who go and see it, they crush it when they say that they want other people to see it. When you talk about Child's Play, I'm not really sure how that balances out, but I'm really surprised that it's holding its own as far as the critics are concerned. So I think we're at 69 right now as of this date, as far as not certified fresh, but fresh. And no, I mean, I was really surprised by that. They've got Mark Hamill as the voice of Chucky, which is pretty cool. I've seen some interviews with him and trying to go for it and talk about that. And if those of you are shocked when it comes to Mark Hamill and voice acting, you really need to look into this man because he has got a massive, massive background in this. Um, if you watch, speaking of Batman, hate to drag it back, but Joker from Batman the Animated Series, Mark Hamill. So he's been doing this for a long time, and I think that he can actually pull it off. I think that could not be more capable hands, but I mean, the casting and everything surprised me. Aubrey Plaza, the direction, everything, the whole direction that everything took in that movie, as far as the trailer's gone. Um, Talking more about the the overrun of like cybersecurity and things like that, and like how the Internet of Things is coming to get you, and uh, it's a different take for sure. It's not the possessed child doll serial killer of yore,
Yeah.
but no, I mean it's pretty interesting stuff, and I think it'd be good. It'd be a good SLM hangout to go check this movie out.
I think it'd be even better to all get together when it comes out and just watch it at the office. I think that's a better idea. Just so I don't see us going to theaters to see this at this point.
No, the actual talkability during the film, also a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, people wouldn't like that.
No, we could. You don't mean that we could share ideas openly during an entire screening of a movie?
Yeah, that doll's gonna kill somebody.
Called that one.
Yeah. Oh, guys, look, they did it.
Not a good look.
No, not awesome.
Hey guys, we're with SLM. Look us up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting trashed on our social and on our website.
Yeah. These ruined movie 1 star.
Oh, we'd be fighting with people on all fronts. Every one of us would be on the battle lines fighting for this thing.
The proverbial knives would be out.
Yes. Ben would be so angry. Ben is always the moral compass, but he would be so angry.
No, I mean, Chucky scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
When I was
yeah.
And I will say that I wonder if that had anything to do with my main fear when I was a child, which was Teddy Ruxpin. Do you guys remember Teddy Ruxpin?
Of course.
Yeah, Teddy Ruxpin was a phenomenon back in the day, and nothing has scared the shit out of me more when I was a little kid than Teddy Ruxpin. The idea here, for those of you who don't know what Teddy Ruxpin is it is a stuffed bear that has a moving mouth that actuates with the cassette tape that you've put in its back, so it talks to you, right? Mm-hmm. And Teddy Ruxpin tells you stories of fantastical worlds involving himself and from a first-person perspective. The problem is Teddy Ruxpin runs out of batteries, and this is an analog story, right? This is an analog situation where when he starts to run out of batteries, he starts to talk like he is a demon. So when he's telling his grand tales of he and his friends flying on a hot air balloon and going to conquer the evil whatever king, it comes out to, hey guys, my name's Teddy Ruxpin. I'm here to tell you about a story. So, needless to say, when I was like 4 or 5 years old, Teddy Ruxpin scared the living shit out of me. And from that point on, I think I had about 70 recurring dreams of nothing but Teddy Ruxpin, just rows of him with red eyes just looking at me. So good on you. Good on you, Teddy Ruxpin. Doing a great job.
All right.
Hold it down.
That just means one thing. We've got to get one of these things. We've got to get our hands on one right now.
I bet if you eBay it for $200 freaking dollars, it'll be I don't know how much it costs now. But
we're gonna look into this. We're gonna get back to this because this is definitely something we need to look into now as an adult.
No, go scare the hell out of me, with slow talking Teddy Ruxpin.
You can handle it now though, right?
I think so. Is it as bad as that one MLB player waking up from his spider nightmare?
Oh yeah. Well, we'll do it during the day if that makes you feel better. I'll get you a pacifier and a blanket. It'll make you feel better.
I would be emotionally crippled, but you guys would love it. Good content.
Sucking your thumb with the blanket in the corner.
Yeah. I mean, at least make it fun for me. Get a nice blanket. Get a nice sucker.
You know what? So 2 things really freaked me out as a kid. Number 1 was the gremlins.
Oh,
gremlins. That fear got exponentially worse when Furbies came to be a thing.
Oh, Furbies.
Because those were like asshole gremlins.
My sister had one.
And
it was bad.
Gremlin. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure my sister and I both had one, and it was annoying as shit. And I drowned mine actually. I threw it in water.
Did it know it was drowning? I mean, it had like the guidance computer of like a guided missile or something. So
yeah, I don't know. I just threw it in water and it was dead after that. So it took about 20 minutes for that to happen. But that got expedited badly whenever those things came out because they were like, you had to feed those assholes and you had to do all kinds of stuff to keep them happy. What a pain in the ass toy.
Yeah, in-person Tamagotchi. Good job, world.
Those things were like sought after too.
Oh God, yes. I mean, when those things came out, it was like kicking down doors. I mean, like it was like the Tickle Me Elmos and shit like that. I mean, that Furby is among the pantheon of hard to get, worth the fight toys for your children. So I remember when my friend had a Furby, or his little sister had a Furby, and or maybe he had a Furby, he didn't admit to it, but either way, he put it in the freezer, and it told it was like shivering, and it said like, "Ooh, it's cold,"
What?
and
no way.
yeah, I mean, like okay, so this is all anecdotal, but the idea was that it was making his sister miserable, and then he took it out of the freezer because she asked him to take it out of the freezer, and then threw it against the wall, and when he threw it, it goes wee, and it hits the wall and then breaks into a million pieces. So Furby's very self-aware. Good job. Is that a Mattel product?
Probably. We're gonna have to get one of those too. We're gonna have to do some tests. We need to figure out what happens when you kill Furby. I want to hit it with a baseball bat.
You think two Alexas?
Colorado.
Yeah, we could go to a baseball field and I'll hit it. Well, somebody can pitch it to me and I'll hit it with a bat.
That'd be awesome. I think you think two Alexas talking to each other is annoying as hell. Wait till you see two Furbies talking to each other.
So we're going to end up having to get 2 Airbnbs, I think. We're putting the batteries in one of the Airbnbs and we're putting the Furbies in another if that's happening. The batteries can be nowhere near those goddamn Furbies.
Do you think they absorb them? They seek out and they find them?
I don't know that they don't come alive at night. I'm not wanting to find out while we're in Colorado.
If there's one thing that Toy Story could taught me is that be ready.
That's a very good point. You've got to be able.
That are not in the museum, the Furby incursion, which was the lost sequel.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh, that'd be great content to make whenever we get the Furbies.
Our own Night of the Museum. Good. Great.
Yeah, Teddy Ruxpin and the Furbies. We'll work on that.
Oh God, who would be in charge?
Yeah. Yeah. Never mind. We're not going down that road.
No.
Not worth it. It's not worth it.
No.
Yeah. All right. We're just coming up with all kinds of ideas here to get to test. So I think that'll be good. The other thing that I was thinking about, so the first thing that came to mind whenever we were talking about things that terrified us as a child, though, is I was always scared of like mice and rats. And some people don't care. It just freaks me out. I don't know. Snakes are the same way. I'm just one of those people. I don't like that shit. And I was thinking as to why that is. And I was thinking about whenever I was probably, I couldn't have been in more than like second or third grade. And we had just moved into this new house. And I thought I heard a rat or like a mouse in my room. Like I heard stuff shuffling around. But, as a kid, my parents were like, you're fine. You're just looking for ways to stay up, that kind of thing. You get, as a parent, there's tough love there at times.
Right.
But I swear it happened. And one day I had made something out of like construction paper and it had fallen off of my desk. And my desk had like a thing of drawers next to it. It was kind of like a hutch desk with like drawers next to it. And underneath, it had fallen kind of underneath by the drawers. And I heard like munging, like almost like if you bit into a carrot, like that kind of thing. And I was like, what the hell? And of course I'm a kid and I'm kind of freaking out, but like my parents had told me it's okay a million times. And then I woke up the next morning and that goddamn, whatever it was like a booklet or something I made in school, was just eating all the fucking hell. There was paper shreds everywhere.
Oh my God.
And my mom was like, what the hell? And I was like, well, I didn't fucking eat it. So there had to I'm sure that's what I said as a second grader. But
right.
I didn't fucking eat it. No, but I was like, well, I didn't eat it. So like, obviously something's alive up here that's eating this construction paper because I didn't sit here and do it all night. And I heard it happen. So that terrified the living shit out of me. It really did. I slept with a nightlight for a long time after that because of the whole construction paper fiasco. And I'm not ashamed to admit it because that was terrifying.
Nightlights have their place for sure.
So mice eating paper, never a good thing. Also keeping tabs on your construction paper.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how else would you know there's mice there?
Right. Brandon, was there anything like that just terrified you as a kid?
Well, most of them were nothing really terrified me in terms of like ideas of things, but it was two things. Close Encounters of the Third Kind and the aliens in that, especially whenever the door opens at the end, you see that huge alien all stretching out and it just looks like a freaking mantis. That scared the hell out of me because he had this weird looking ghoulish head turning and stuff. And then the other thing would be, oh shit, I just had it and I just lost my thought. My sister had an E.T. doll, and something about E.T., watching that on tape as well as Poltergeist was pretty freaky. But, okay, the biggest thing that freaked me out as a kid was the Unsolved Mysteries theme song. And a lot of those episodes, because they were just freaky and these shadowy figures, and it's like, okay, I don't ever want to go outside.
Yeah, I think that's on Netflix, isn't it? I haven't gone back and watched that show in years. I would love to. You know what? Speaking of shows that scared me, Tales from the Crypt scared the shit out of me.
Oh, my God.
What a terrifying thing to be on like PBS.
Yeah, that's pretty jacked.
Are You Afraid of the Dark? That one too.
Are You Afraid of the Dark was a good one. Outer Limits got me pretty good because I was a big Twilight. I'm not Twilight. Oh my God, Twilight Zone. Yeah, I almost said Team Edward again. Twilight Zone with like Rob Serling and everything. Talk about good TV.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. But the when it comes to Outer Limits, dude, that they did not hold back. They tried to modernize that shit and it got real weird real fast. There were some episodes in there when I was watching it as a kid, it scarred the hell out of me.
Yeah, it was very like
life.
David Cronenberg-ish, and it got really out there. Yeah,
it was. That's a really good way to put it. It was very David Cronenberg-ish.
Really was. All right, boys. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up on terrifying construction paper talk. I think that's a good place to end it, right? All right. Well, we want to remind everyone to follow us on social media. That's at Sensibly Loud on Twitter and on Instagram. We are at Sensibly Loud Media on Facebook, and we We have the website, sensiblyloud.com, for all the latest blogs, pods, and more. And we will be back next week with another edition of Sensibly Loud Radio. We'll see you guys next week.